Good morning, traders. Welcome to Trading Together. I'm Mel Gacee. Today is Thursday, February the 12th. How are you guys doing today? Welcome to another day of Let's Sell the Dip. Here we are dipping down almost 40 points now after another strong gap up. What is going on? What I think is going on is this market is beginning to turn. We're getting stronger sells and we are starting to really see the cracks and the weakness show. This is something I've been saying for a couple of weeks now. We're bumping our heads on this all-time high. I'll show you the chart here in just a minute. And we just can't seem to get over it. So we are beginning to sell more. The cracks are beginning to show. Gavilan is here. Good morning. Good to see you. Gavilan, I hope you made money on that trade yesterday. I did make money a little bit, like 6% on that call. So hope you were able to catch that too. Let's see here. We are right in the middle of this strong dip. Careful here because from the flat line, more than that from the open. Look at what it's doing right now. See how it's right here starting to get a it happened right here. You got to be careful not to sell the bottom. So I don't usually jump in the middle of a move. Now I've scalped this move down a couple times this morning, but only tiny wins. I don't overstay my welcome. These moves are they're sharp and sudden, but they also can stop abruptly. So, all right, Inner Joy is here. Good morning, Anna. Good to see you. And Gavilan got 5. Yay. I was thinking about you all who followed me into that trade, and we had to stop the stream before the trade was over. We were able to make a little bit on it, and that was by the skin of our teeth, I'll tell you, because it was a day. Pause. Look here and see if we're going to continue down or not. How do we trade this? Let me zoom out a little bit. Strong drop, strong sell. Here was our open, right? So pre-market we were, oh, there it goes again. Seven is where we're sitting right now on the SPY. $68.99 on the SPX. That's a big deal, guys. Remember, 69 is a major support zone. So they may try and hold it here. If we lose it, we could consider a put, even though it's been really diving and sinking. It's hard to catch. This is what they would call trying to catch a falling knife, because it's just slicing right down there like a hot knife through butter. But at any point, it just stops and it bounces. And that's what you have to be aware of. So right here, you can see I've got a trend line drawn right here at 6,900. If we lose 6,900, we could consider a put here at 689 level. I'm going to hold it just to hold it. But I'm not in it yet. I'm kind of watching this 6,900 zone. If we really lose that, I may jump in. VIX is still climbing up to 19. What have we been saying about the VIX, guys? We've been saying that the bottom rising was a dead giveaway for a potential spike. And here we are. It is spiking. All right, I'm going to take a quick put here. I'm not going to stay long. I'm in it, punch it. I'm not going to stay long in it. I've not been trying to can happen. And they're not paying it out very much right now either. All right, I'm going to get out right here, punch it. That's only 3%, but trust me, I am very skittish about trying to sell a bottom here. We can get a bounce at any time. So I know that was fast. I don't know if anyone followed, but that was a super quick trade for me and a super little one. I'm okay with that. That's what I've been catching all the way down. Little 3, 4, 5% winners, not trying to hold this and wait for it to reverse. Okay, there it goes again. 68.90. Now, the reason I made that trade right there was the 6,900 break. And look at what it's trying to do. Looks like it might want to try and go see if it can reclaim that 6,900. We'll see. But this is exactly what you got to watch for on these strong dips. At any moment, they give us this little bottom or this turn. And I'm not saying that's what this is, but it's really hard to catch this knife. That's for sure. So let's see if they try to come back up and grab that 6,900. They might. 686 is our new low. Well, there's a lot of volume coming in there. You see it? You see how that volume bar just starts growing? When you see that, a lot of times after a strong directional move, a lot of times that can mean a reversal when you get that big volume bar. It doesn't have to, but a lot of times it can. So again, these are, believe it or not, as simple as this chart looks, it is not simple. It's not simple. All right, bouncing back up. Again, let's see if they, that's been an important level for quite some time. Let me get my VIX in focus here. What's going on? There we go. Little red candle on the VIX here, nothing much. I'll show you the spike here in just a minute on the VIX. This is what we've been talking about every single day. What have we been saying? Rising bottom on the VIX, it's going to spike. We don't know when, but it's going to spike. It is spiking. Right now it's at 19. I think we've got more in store. I believe that we are at the beginning of a turn in the market. And that's not to say we can't run it back up there. We can, but I'm beginning to sense these sell-offs becoming stronger and a potential major pullback in the markets coming is what I feel. It doesn't have to happen today. It could be the next days or even weeks, but it feels like it's coming. So be aware of that. All right. 68.92. Let's see if we come back down here and try to lose this bottom. By the way, we have an untested low at 670, guys. That's huge. That is 160 points below us, but it is there, and it's been there for a week today. A week ago today, we made it, and we have not tested it. And I've been telling y'all it's coming. That test of 670 on the SPY is coming. Again, it doesn't have to be today. There's nothing saying they can't turn and run this right back up to all-time highs. They can, but I'm really starting to see the weakness, and that 670 on the SPY has not been tested yet. So that's going to have to get tested. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here. We'll go look at the SPY. I'll show you where it is. It's a week ago. And if you're not watching pre-market, a lot of people don't, you'll miss stuff like that. All right, here we go. Back down again. 55, 69.05 on the ES, 68.86 on this SPX. I'm not going to take another put trade here, even if it drops another 50 points, because it's so extended. At any point, like I said, they could turn and run it. Gavilan, do you think a put set for March is a good idea? It's not a bad idea. They'll be expensive, so be careful with those. And like I said, if you're willing to sit through it, there's nothing saying we can't churn and charge it right back up to the all-time highs. We're not that far below. So, you know what, we're 9, maybe 120 points below. That's not that far. They can move that in a day. So if you want to do puts for March, just be aware that they can turn and run it up and it could go against you. All right, Guy, hard to shorten a hole. Welcome, Guy. It is hard to shorten a hole. I've had a couple of just little scalps on the way down here. We're at 6,900 on the ES. That is also a round number. That's what we call a psychological level. Let's see if we try to break it here. And I was going to show you the daily here. So on the SPY, so I can show you where I saw that 670. If you're not watching pre-markets, you'll miss stuff like that. And that, it will have to get tested. And I think it's on its way, to be honest. Let's see here. Let's look at our daily. I'll show you where it is. Actually, to see it, I'm going to have to go to like the hourly. Let's try that. Me too. All right, Guy. Well, glad you're agreeing. All right, let's zoom out here. How many days do we get? We get 20. Okay. 6,900 still holding on the ES. Look at these hourly candles. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Today's hourly candles. 1, 2, 3. Big red. What do we call those, Guy? 3 black crows, I think, is what the the candlestick, Japanese candlestick name is for this pattern. I believe it's 3 black crows. So that is very, very, that's a very bearish pattern for sure. But look at this hourly. What story is the hourly telling us? Boom, we're hitting our head. 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 And just keep banging at this level, which is what? It's 695 through 697 is the level. Yes, thanks, Guy. Three black crows. Thank you, Guy. All right, we are starting to lose ES 6,900. Now let's zoom out. I'm going to show you the super low that we saw. And I actually have, do you see the red line I have drawn here? I'll scrunch it up so you can see it better. Right here, I drew a line all the way back to February 5th, which was a week ago, right? This was, let's see, Friday. This was Thursday night, or basically Thursday afternoon. Anyway, no, I guess it was night. So here's that dip, right? So we're dipping, and look at where we're here. Same place. Now this is the high over here, but same place, banging our head at 697, 698. We keep doing it. Boom, boom, boom. All right, ES is still trying to hold 6,900. No trade for us right now. So yeah, watch this. This is what they're kind of hiding it from you, because if you look at the daily chart, you can't even see this. You can't even see this dip. And so it's got to come back down here. I think this is just the beginning. Let's look at the daily. Again, what are we seeing here? Well, lots of my lines. That's what we're seeing. Lots of my lines. What do we see here? Banging our head, banging our head, banging our head, banging our head, and back down every time. It just keeps getting knocked down. But where does it stop? It's stopping right in here at this one. These two lows have been 677, 677. That's where these last two lows have stopped. I think we're not going to stop next time until 670, right here. Look, and isn't that funny? Look at the confluence. That's exactly where we stopped on 1217. These lines, I know they're ridiculous on my chart, but they do mean something. And so this 670 line, you can't see that dip from February 5th. You can't see it, right? Where is it? February 5th looks, oh, we just lost 6,900. Okay. February 5th looks like any other normal day, but overnight we came all the way down to here. All right. 684.50 is the next stop. If it doesn't turn around, 930 turnaround, we shall see. Where's the plunge protection team? Nowhere to be found right now, guy. And I don't think they are going to be able to pull us out of this next drop. Now, Trump loves the market. So he does like to, when he sees the market start to fall, he really does everything he can to prop it up. He does love the market. So, is it possible he comes out there with, oh, I'm taking tariffs off of the whole world? And, it's possible, right? Because he loves, every American's going to get a $5,000 check. I don't know. I'm making stuff up, but he does love the market. And usually when he sees the market start to falter, he steps in. So that is a possibility there, Guy, there with your plunge protection team. But we're going to have to at least test 670. That has to happen, in my opinion. Nothing has to happen, but in my opinion, that will happen. And still, even at 670, that only puts us at, what is that, 17 points? No, sorry, 27 points below where we are. So 30 points off of 700 is roughly not even 5% drop. No big deal. That is not a big, even all the way down here, it's not a big deal. I think we are fixing to see at least a 10% pullback. And I'm not saying that'll happen in the next couple of days. That could take weeks and months. But I think we're going to get at least a 10% pullback is my guess. And that would put us at losing roughly at about 627, 630. So right in... Am I doing my math right? That looks like an awfully big drop. 10%, 69 or 70 off of basically 700, 630. Yeah, 10% drop. That just doesn't look so big, but 10% drop puts us down roughly in this area, right in here. And I do have some lines drawn there. Surprise, surprise. So that is roughly what a 10% pullback is. By the way, we get a couple of 10% pullbacks on average every year. It's not unusual. It's not uncommon. It is the way the market cycles and resets itself. It's normal and it's natural. It has to happen. So I do think we've got a 10% pullback coming. Like I said, doesn't have to happen next week or even next month. But I think we're heading in that direction. And this this consolidation in through here looks to me like, we've talked about it, like distribution, meaning they are selling underneath the radar. They are selling. That's what it looks like to me. And once they're done selling, they're going to quit popping it back up here so that they can sell it again. That's what they're doing. They're popping it back up to get their liquidity, and they are then selling into that, is what I think is happening. I don't have to be right, but that's what I do think is happening. All right, this thing is still dropping like a stone. 70 points down. We are now 1% down. Tweet time. Yep, that's right. That's right, Guy. Not yet, though. I think he'll let it go farther. He doesn't usually step in until it starts to look scary. I think he stepped in over here. He comes in with his happy tweets. Oh my goodness, look at this drop. Let me get back to my 1 minute. Look at this. Okay. Right here, this is a mechanical sell-off, meaning this is an institutional sell-off. This is not retail. You know how you know the difference? It's very orderly. It's very mechanical. Retail, when retail panics or when the institutions panic, you see whoosh, these big, huge, massive, fast drops. When you see these little steps, even though this has been a big drop. When you see them step it like this is mechanical. This is institutional. Algos have clicked into sell mode. So that's how you can tell the difference. And you can actually play this a little bit better when they do it this way, even though I've been super skittish about it. We're almost at your 684 level there, Guy. So what'd you say? 684.5? Yeah, we're right there. We're right there. Breaking down through it, sitting at 68.64. Wow, what a sell-off. We could take another shot at a put. They've gotten very expensive. I'm not going to take a big trade here, maybe a small one. And I'm not going to shoot for a big win either. And I'm not in it yet either. I'm actually going to see if they can give us one green candle, guys. Can you manage one green candle here? Here's one. We are very oversold right now. That is another thing to remember. The RSI is an extremely oversold territory. Here's a nice little bounce for us. Back up to 68.69, 68.90 on the ES. So I'm going to give this a minute. We don't know if it's a turnaround, and that's a big red bar on the VIX. Let's give this a minute before we do anything. I wonder if the ES wants to recover 6,900. I think that is 68.80 on the SPX, and that's also an area of interest. Okay, there's a strong push there. Very good. Okay. It was about time. My goodness. We haven't seen a green bar on the MACD. We saw this one right here. This is the first green bar we've seen in quite a while. We'll take a look at the VIX here in just a second. 68.90 still on the ES. Are they trying to sell this back down again, or are we going to bounce here? 684.4, guys. So you were right in there. Let's take a look at the volume. What is the volume telling us? That's not what we want to see. That's what we want to see. All right. Not much volume really on either side. Certainly more on the put side at 685. All the volume really overhead. Let's see what the gamma is looking like. Firmly in negative gamma territory with a put wall at 689. We are well below that. All right, looks like we could be coming back down. Let's see what our leaderboard is doing here. Where are the Qs? Qs are down 1.6. We're down 1.0. Mags are down 1.9. Okay. All right, let's see if we break this bottom. Not yet. NVIDIA lost all of its gains today, down 1%. The only thing up today right now is the VIX. The VIX and the dollar. There's a lonely spot at the top there. Everything else is red. All right, there it goes again. Still green on the MACD, so we haven't quite rolled it back over yet after this, just this little, small little break from the selling. We'll take a look at the VIX here in just a second. $684.1 is our current low on the SPY. All right, coming back down. Are they trying to hold it here? Or are we going to make another leg down? That's my question. VIX is up at 20. Last time we hit 20, we did reverse on the VIX. Are we popping up higher? I don't know. $79. There's a new low. Oh my God. 78. All right, I'm going to try for a quick put here. I am in, pinch it. I don't know. We're getting pretty close to the bottom. I feel like we could be getting close to the bottom. I'm out, pinch it. That is 4%. Trust me, I'm happy with my tiny little gains. I am not swinging for fences today. If it doesn't wick up, next stop, 682.7. Thank you, Guy. Got a big volume on that last bar. So let's see. Sometimes that can mean that they're trying to hold it. So let's see what we get. I'll pull up the SPX and look at my support zones. Right here. Got one sitting right here at 68.49, which is about 6 points below us. About 683.0 on the SPY is where I do have a support zone. I'll show you. Zoom that in a little bit. 68.56. This I turned it yellow because we had spent a lot of time there and I wanted it to kind of stand out. But this line right here, 68, basically 68.50. That is right where we're sitting. That has been support before many times. Right here, we blew through it and came up over it. Right here, back over here. So it's been support many times. Could be support right now. We are at 1.2% down from yesterday's close. So we might hold it here. Now, remember, guys, we're getting back into this 50 and 100 territory. That's the big problem. And for the SPY or the SPX, it's not as much of a problem as it is. Watch the NDX, guys. Watch this. Watch NASDAQ. That it's no bueno. Look at that. Very big rejection of the 100. This is trouble. I don't want to be a perma bear. I don't want to be a doom and gloomer, but this candle right here, rejection off the 100, this is trouble. Not good. If the NASDAQ cannot recover its 100, we are all going down. And I don't mean Russell and Dow. They might hold their own, but the SPX, if the NASDAQ cannot regain its 100, it doesn't look good. So the next stop for the NASDAQ, there's other stops in between, but the next huge one is this 200. And isn't it funny that it's kind of holding this trend line? Now, I drew this trend line eons ago, so let me see if it's still accurate. No, it is not accurate. We have a different trend line. So this is trouble right here. Big trouble. And it doesn't look to me like the NASDAQ is going to be able to save its 100. Not today. NASDAQ is down almost 2 full percent. So going to see that sell-off today or tomorrow, but this right here is a big flashing red warning to the whole market, to the SPX, to the NASDAQ. That's a big warning. Better believe that institutions are looking at this, and yeah, it's the sell-off is coming. Now, that's not a bad thing. We make good money when the market sells off. I've done great today, even with my tiny little wins. I've done fantastic today. And we do make money when the market drops, when the market climbs, but we make money faster when the market drops, because the old saying goes, the market takes the stairs up, but it takes the elevator down, and it does. All right, so that's the issue. Let's take a quick look at the VIX. I want to see if 20 is going to stop it today. Here's our pop right there up to 20.6. You can see we popped there a few days ago, and before that on the 20th of January, kind of right in this 20 zone, and then it gets knocked back down. We got it here, and it keeps getting knocked back down from 20. But what doesn't change? This rising bottom. Look at it. Very, very clearly creating a rising bottom. So I think we've got bigger spikes to go. If you zoom out, you can see 20 really isn't that much. Zoom out, you can see we've got other spikes that are higher. This one is 22. This one is 22. And then these big ones that happened in October and November, that was 28, 28. And then we've got that massive one that happened, of course. I think this was during the tariff times. That one popped up to 60, which was wild. That one, Trump absolutely stepped in on this one. So basically this 29, 25, 28, 28. So we have not quite hit the max yet. I think we've got more to go. But we are getting a cute bounce off the bottom here. Let's go back and look at our charts. Bounced right at 683.5, which was that 6850 zone, that yellow line that I was just showing you on the SPX. Little bounce here. That's great. We needed to see that. The VIX got knocked back down, sitting at 19.7. You know, could we trade the call? Yes. Am I going to? No. I'm not going to. Now it could come all the way up to the VWAP. You know, it could reverse this whole thing. This whole thing could give us a big V-shaped reversal. All right, guy, go get them. Go get them. Yeah, could it give us a big V-shaped reversal? Yes. I don't think we're getting that today. We get it a lot. We've been getting it as we've been doing this up and down on that daily chart that I showed you, hitting our head, up and down, up and down, up and down. We keep getting these V-shaped reversals every time they sell it off. Why? Because they're pushing it back up to sell some more. That's my theory. But I don't think we're going to get the bounce today. I could be wrong. All right, we came back up over the moving average 21. We have got the MACD giving us some green here. Oh my God, Bitcoin is it's gonna be the death of me. 66 Bitcoin. Okay. Slowing down just a little bit here on that rise. So remember when I said we had that big volume bar, and a lot of times that can mean that we are coming to a stop. Well, look what it did right there. That was the big volume. And then we got that little reversal. So watch the volume when we're doing like what we were doing, this huge climb, huge drop. Sometimes they'll spike the volume at the level where they're getting ready to turn it. And that's exactly what they did. The largest, highest volume was on that bottom bar there, and then it turned. Now, what's it going to do from here? That's the question. Are we going to get that V-shaped recovery, or is this just a little blip before we continue on down? Looks like NVIDIA is recovering a little bit. Q's recovering a little bit. MAG's recovering a little bit. So Q's and MAGs are down about 1.5%, and we're down just under 1%. All right. Guy went in heavy and closed half. All right, Guy. Congrats. I'm sure that was a good trade. Got some volume building at 685, 684 puts, right where we're sitting. Almost not very much volume on the call side, but some at the 685 level. $68.75 on the SPX. I need to go look at those levels again on the daily SPX chart. $69, $68.50. There's a bounce from there. Where's our 100? $68.15 today. It's about 60 points below us. We will definitely be coming down to visit the 100. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow or next week, but we will visit the 100 again. $68.75. I don't really have a line at $68.75, but that level is really ringing a bell for me. Let me look at the 15. So I'm looking at the 15-minute chart because this current level where we're at right now, the 68.75, 68.80, it's kind of ringing a bell for me. Like a little deja vu. We've seen it before. Right in here, right in between these two. So yeah, there's some support right there, 68.70. And 68.80. 68.80. 68.85. So we've been here several times. The 68.80, 68.75 to 68.85 basically. Let's see if it continues to try to climb. It looks like it's struggling a little bit in here, but it might try to make another leg up. Let's see what we get. All right, little move back down here. Now this we could short, maybe. Got to be careful. This little move down. I'm going to load up puts just to be ready, but I'm not buying them yet. Okay. Nothing yet. We are getting the moving average, the hull, to start to turn a little bit here. The MACD hasn't rolled over yet. So we're just kind of holding right now, 685, with our low sitting at 683.5. I want to take a quick look at NVIDIA chart. Okay, there's NVIDIA's bounce. Similar chart, kind of this drop all day and then a little recovery off the bottom. What was its bottom? 187. Let's take a look at the Qs. Yeah, very similar chart. Look at the Qs. Looks almost just like us. 601 was the bottom on the Qs so far. Mags. Looks the same, doesn't it? All these charts looking very similar. All right, looks like another little move down here. Let's get over to the SPY. Little green candle here. So I'm not in anything yet. I'm just watching here to see if we get this MACD to roll over. We don't have a lot of room to the bottom. If we did decide to. MACD starting to roll. All right, I'm going to give it a quick try. It's a little position. It's a small put, nothing big. Not going to stay in too long either. Coming down a little bit. Little bounce here. So it looks to me like we might be trying to build a bottom here. So let's see if we can drop this down one more time and then get out. Mm. just about flat. Doesn't want to break this bottom just yet. All right, I'm out here flat. I'm out. Punch it. That's just flat. It's not really quite moving down, and not that it won't, but I just didn't like that price action there. All right. All right, we are coming up to the end of the stream, so we'll talk about what the rest of today looks like. This is, again, there it goes, of course. That's okay. Could have made money on it, but I'll take flat any day. As far as the rest of the day goes, we're either going to, at some point, we'll build a bottom. It could be here. We could be trying to build this bottom here. If we do, probably they will drag it sideways. I really don't see a V-shaped recovery happening today. I could be wrong. But if we build a bottom, I think they'll just drag it sideways. Or we could take another leg down. That is also a possibility. I don't think I'm not really going to play much to the upside. If we do get a V-shaped reversal, that'll be huge, but I really don't see that happening. You never know. We can't predict. We can only play what we get, but that's kind of my thought process moving forward. Oh, good, Gavilan. Nicely done. You got 5%. Nicely done. I just got out flat, but good for you. And let's see, Guy closed a quarter when the price tried to touch the 9, still holding a small runner, which I'll close if we break the low. Are you talking about the puts, Guy, on that one? Because what did you do with the calls? Anyway, great job, everybody. It was a lot of fun today. Again, watch for a build of the bottom. If that happens, just don't try to play the chop. If they're building out this bottom here and they're doing this for the next, what have we got? 4 hours? Don't do it. Wait to get into any new puts until we actually pretty decisively break this current bottom. And if you want to trade calls, be careful. Just make sure we're really pushing up. I wouldn't trade any calls until we break this overhead high that we made right here. I wouldn't trade calls. And I wouldn't trade puts until we pretty decisively beat this low right here. But if we're building out sideways, just don't trade. It's not worth it. I've got nice profit today. I'm happy with it. And I'm happy to call it a day from here. What happens is when they pull the sideways action, they're going to take all their money back from you. Don't let them do that. Don't let them do that. All right. So congrats, everybody. Nicely done to all of you all. I hope everybody made money today. Remember, tomorrow is CPI. So that happens pre-market, 8:30 Eastern. That can move the market. We could see big movements. So be careful with that. Be careful if you're holding anything overnight, because like I said, that can move the market before we even open. All right, guys, it was a pleasure trading with you. As always, we got a couple of fun short wins today. We'll be back again tomorrow, and it'll be at 11 a.m. Eastern. Everybody take care. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.